right. Welcome to another episode of Chalk Talk. This one's a little special for me today. Got Coach Richard Lewis on, and Coach Lewis gave me my first ever basketball coaching job at the high school level. So welcome, Coach Lewis.
Thanks for having me. Great to be on the show, and you was well deserving of that opportunity as well.
I appreciate it. Took a chance on me. Really do appreciate it. So that's where it started. So I first wanted to congratulate you on a recent success. You've had a ton of recent success lately with the program. You've been through the trenches with the program. You've dealt with a whole lot of outside noise, leading up to this point and probably even still today. So just tell me a little bit about, the journey that you've had up until this point and how you've persevered through.
Oh, it's been great, man. Biggest thing for me is getting in coaching. When I started, 20 some years ago, is just to see these young guys succeed. When I was at middle school level, had a lot of success at both Charlestown and Wildwood, and you know how it is. If you're having success at that level, they want to see you get to the high school level and see you do the same thing. So it's been, up and down. First year was really, really down. Second 2 years was really good. I thought made some progress. Came up short to get to Charleston, and then the last couple of years before recently, the last 3 years, he had a little rocky start. But you know, perseverance is the key. Just making sure you build from the ground up and stay steady in what you're trying to do. I think getting some pieces in that some players that's really really bought in as far as working hard, developing, and also just watching them grow as young men. That's been pride and joy for me. Seeing those guys work really hard and put that time in, effort, and then the fruits of our labors come to fruition. So you've seen that in the last couple of years.
For sure. I don't know if a lot of people know that you're one of the all-time greats at Shepherd University, and you hoop with some really good players and things like that. So you played the game at a high level. You know the game. What's been the biggest transition for you from being a player into being a coach?
It's just being around good people, man. Just I started off at Archbishop Carroll. I got to the area playing at St. James, playing in tournaments like that, and then playing against the Martinsburgs in this area. So we've gotten a lot of experience in this area, and coming to Shepherd, getting recruited was a really joy, and then just really liking the area, staying in the area. Was at Shepherd for 4 years, assistant coach, so got some experience at that level as well, and then transitioned into the workforce, and then had an opportunity. Dave Vines, who's actually our AD at Jefferson, gave me my first opportunity in middle school at Charleston. So it just kind of came full circle. And transition has been great, man. Just working camps, grinding over the years, all over the country, just working different basketball camps, just learning the game from some really good people. My coach, Carol Holmes, a lot of people probably don't know, he played at DeMatha in the 70s. He played for Morgan Wooten, the legendary coach at DeMatha. So just being around him and being around Ron Gerlison at Shepherd, who was a great mentor as well, who actually was the head coach at UMass before he came to Shepherd, before John Calipari. So it's some lineage there. And then also Denny Alexander, the late Denny Alexander, gave me my first opportunity at the college level, and I got to learn from him as well. So it's just been great, just learning from some different people, and then just traveling around different clinics, camps over the years, seeing different things.
Yeah, for sure. I tell a lot of people like, Tech is a basketball head. You know what I mean? Like, some people coach basketball, some people play basketball, some people enjoy the game, some people love the game, but like being a basketball head is just one of those terms that you either know or you don't know. You know what I mean? Like you're a true basketball head, like you live, you breathe the game. So I don't know if a lot of people know that, but definitely want to throw that out there. So you guys made it to Charleston the last 2 years.
Yep.
First year you went down. I feel like guys were a little bright eyed, just being there with the whole setup, the whole situation. But you guys actually played GW tough, lost a tough game, and then last year you went down, had some guys that were returners. They kind of understood the stage and looked more comfortable. Got a big win against Cabell Midland. and then dropped a second round game against Parkersburg South. Can you kind of tell me the difference for one with playing in Charleston in general, your first year, even coaching? I know as players it was different. What did you learn as a coach going down there coaching in Charleston in your first year, and what was the difference between year one and year two?
Yeah, year one, I thought, we're underdogs, of course. We lost to the champions. They ended up winning the whole thing. We were actually up at halftime. Came out. I think we surprised everybody. We played really well. Just making the biggest thing as a coach, I thought for us going down there, I think the game plan was really solid. So we came out, executed the first half. Second half, I thought we kind of got stagnant offensively. So that was some of the adjustments. I think year one and year two that we thought we had to make. We talked about it all season. Just really getting into a half court and just execute. I thought we showed that at times last year when we had to. And I thought GW the year before, I mean, you saw why they won it. I thought they did a good job in the second half of really shutting some things down and we do well. So I think that was the biggest adjustment, just seeing what we needed to work on. Year two, I thought we were primed and ready. Of course, we know we added Jamari to that mix, and we had a lot of returners, and those returners really blossomed. We saw Cam, you saw his maturation from his freshman year. You were around the freshman, so you saw how he just blossomed into like this unbelievable player that we didn't know was going to happen 4 years ago. So all that came kind of full circle. Dayon, Will, everybody developed. Each year. Everybody got better. So we knew going into that season we were going to be really good. Undefeated season, probably not, not really thinking that on those terms, but because it hadn't really been done before at Jefferson. Actually, never been done before at Jefferson. We was only the third team. Kozlowski said we were only the third team in the area to ever go undefeated going into the state tournament. So something like that is, it's historic. So it's making sure everybody understands that, especially the players. I wanted them to kind of enjoy the ride. So I thought last year we were, one of the top one or two teams. You could probably put us, Parkersburg South, and Morgantown in a basket and pick one of us going into the tournament who could be the number one seed. And I thought, overall for the whole season as a whole, we played really well, played really good basketball. I didn't have a lot of close games. I thought that could be one of the stumbling points late in the season if we got into a close game because we hadn't really had a close. So I think from year one and year two, we learned a lot. And then the players put in a lot of time. They got stronger. They got a lot better overall. And I think just seasoning helps. Having those returners come back, has been through the grind, really helped us. So I think year one and year two, and as coaches, I mean, you learned a lot in year two as well. Weight room was a big focus this year. I thought, down there you got to be a lot stronger. The game's a little bit more physical when you get to the Final Four. And I got to tell all the guys, when you get to the last four, nobody's trying to go home. So everybody's a state champion at that point. Everybody's their regional champs. Everybody's the best team in the state when you get into the last four. So anybody can win at that point. So, it's just learning experience. And I think we've learned a lot from there. And we've, as coaches, learned a lot. So I think going forward, we know kind of what it takes to get to that final step.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned not having a lot of close games last year and then transition to this year, and you have one of the hardest schedules in the state. You've played Morgantown, you've played some teams from DC, you have some other tough games on the schedule. And I mean, you've had some close games. Some you've dropped and some you've won. So did you purposely do that in order to get your team ready for this state run?
Yeah, well, like the Charleston trip coming up, that was a 2 year out schedule. So we had to schedule that back in the COVID year just to get into that event, West Virginia State. So South Charleston and GW actually didn't know who we were going to play until this summer. But just getting in that event in Charleston was something that I had to schedule 2 years out. And then me and Coach Tomlin had been talking for about a year and a half, trying to get something together. And he wanted to come down last year to their event, but we were already booked up. So we've been talking about playing Morgantown for almost a year and a half now. So that was something that been playing year and a half out. So to say it was playing purposely this year, I can't really say that, but just really trying to get those teams on our schedule. Like last year, we were actually trying to play Parkersburg South because we had a lot of COVID games we missed. Because a lot of people don't know we missed a game against Riverdale Baptist. We were supposed to play in PG County at Wise High School. um, on the event Martin Luther King weekend, and that got canceled. They were a really good private school out of the DC area. I think they're ranked in the top 20 in the Washington Post this year. So we were supposed to play them, but PG County shut down basketball last year. So we were actually supposed to play that game. And then fortunately, we got in St. James, which, never happens to private public school. St. Martinsburg played in there in this area, but that was really good test for us. We played a prep school out of North Carolina. So just trying to get some tough games on the schedule each year is always a chore of mine. I'm trying to get those experience that I had um, playing in high school to some of the guys that we have in our team.
Yeah, for sure. I think not only the experience with playing, I think you've done a good job with the recruiting aspect as well, that I don't think a lot of people see. I've spoken to you about plenty of players. You've sent me players. I've heard you speak to players about the recruiting process and kind of walking them through what they need to do and emailing coaches and getting their highlight tapes and stuff together. Can you kind of touch on the importance for you of seeing your guys get to the next level that want to get to the next level and how you help them out?
Yeah, and it's an adjustment. Once you get to high school, you look at everybody and say, okay, the whole team wants to play in college, so you have to make an adjustment and say, who wants to play college basketball and who has the potential to play college basketball. But then you want to see them through that journey as best you can and make them understand like what level they really fit at, and then try to get them to that level of play. And that's been a kind of a learning experience for me. Just as a high school coach, sitting there making sure everybody has an opportunity to play college basketball, but then also see where they fit at, see where they fit and what coaches can really use those guys at the next level. I mean, they try to get the exposure. We've been down DC Live, we've been down Philly Live, which are the NCAA Live periods for high school basketball in the summer. To put those guys in front of coaches so they can excel and hopefully get an offer or two or maybe 10, 15 offers. But my goal was to try to get us in those situations and then also have them succeed at the highest level they can play at.
For sure. You guys played some really good games. Talked to you over the summer, and
Yeah,
you posted on all those games. You played some top schools, and you've had some guys
yeah,
have some really good performances. Follow those on Twitter. So that experience is great. You've got guys like Gladney and Mari that are with Takeover, and they're getting some really good competition in the summer. And Cam was on a good AAU team, and now he's at Notre Dame College getting ready to play Division II basketball next year after his redshirt semester this year. So, and then you got Will, who just signed to play ball.
yeah.
You've got Dayon, who's playing college ball. Who else you got? You got somebody in my Alto.
Jalen Smith played there as well.
Jalen Smith played at Mount Alto.
And then Bryson Fleming's at my
Oh,
Alto
Bryson
right now.
Fleming. Yep, Bryson's there
Yeah.
now. So yeah, so I mean, the work that you put in and the emphasis that you put on getting kids to the next level and the placement level and things like that is definitely paying off for you. So congratulations on that. What do you feel like is
Appreciate
the biggest misconception about the program or you as a coach that you have to overcome, or the outside noise? Do you just kind of brush that off and just keep pushing forward, or does it affect you in any way?
Not really. Basketball is basketball.
Mhm.
If you like apples, I might like oranges.
Yeah,
So, our style of play is unique, as I can say. So if you don't understand it, then you probably won't ever understand. So some of those things I understand. Like I said, everybody likes the tea different and coffee different.
mhm,
So nobody's gonna have the same taste.
mhm,
So somebody's gonna always have something to say about something. Um, as long as you're having success, then kind of take care of yourself. If you're not, then you're always going to get criticism.
yeah,
So it comes with the territory. You're a coach. We talked about it a lot. It's just the territory that comes with profession at any level. Doesn't matter if it's youth league, if it's high school, if it's pros. It kind of intensifies at different levels, but it's going to always come with the territory. So it's one of the things where you just keep pushing. Like you said, keep pushing forward. Um, how we do things, how we do things. If somebody has something to say about it, that's fine.
yeah. So what do you say about the critics that say that your style of basketball doesn't translate to the college level?
I would say go watch West Liberty play.
The who? What's live?
West Liberty.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and Nova, right?
So that's what I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So yeah,
they haven't seen them play, then they probably want to go on YouTube and
yeah,
check it
yeah,
out.
yeah. West Liv was 8 in the country. You got Nova that's sitting at 2 in the country right now, and Coach Crutchfield, who was at West Liv, left the blueprint at West Liberty, and I'm guessing those guys are still running it. And then Coach Crutch is down here in Nova, and he's implemented the blueprint down here in their juggernaut as well. So let's talk about that style of play. So it's are you pressing a little bit less this year than you normally have? And what about the emphasis on half court execution? I did see some half court execution in your last couple games. Have you put an emphasis on that lately? Is that something that you always put emphasis on? Are you trying to slow things down a little bit? Or are you making some adjustments this year compared to last year's style of play?
Now we press pretty much the same. I think our numbers are pretty similar to last year. We actually put up a 3 year average, showed the players. Can't remember when it was, maybe like a couple weeks ago, and it showed them where we were at 3 years ago compared to now and last year as well, where our numbers were, and they were pretty similar actually. I think we're actually scoring a little bit more this year than we did last year, offensively. So we're scoring a little bit more. I think the shots are about the same. Pressing, I think we press probably about the same amount. We don't people. It's funny because we don't press all the time, but I guess it feels like that because even the players think we're pressing all the time. A couple times I had to show them on film, we didn't even press that much this week. So it's just, I guess, perception at this point that we press, the whole game, uh, but we actually don't. And when I mean press is picking up 94 feet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was saying. I didn't think I've seen as much 94 feet. I mean, there's pressure and you're trapping and things like that, but then there's pressing 94 feet. So
yeah. But actually, if you watch this play, especially like in the second half, it's games against Musselman last year. We didn't press the whole second half
mhm,
at,
yeah,
at all. We stayed in the half court the whole second half. Like I said, nobody really probably paid attention to that because you always just
mhm,
perception kind of becomes reality. So
yeah.
I can go back in games against Hedgesville and Musselman last year. We didn't press pretty much the whole second half against them. So
Was that due
it's
to
just a
foul
perception.
trouble, or is it because of the press wasn't being effective, or what was that decision?
No, I think we do a good job of mixing things up. But like I said, perception is we press the whole game. So
Mhm,
and that's fine. I actually like that reputation. So it's great for us to have that reputation because if you watch Parkersburg South last year against Morgantown, they didn't press at all in the championship game, but they're known for pressing. So it's one of the things that you get once you get a reputation of doing something, it kind of stays with you
yeah,
the whole time. So that's something that we hang our hats on. Um, and I take pride in trying to do that well. Um,
yeah,
I've actually I played with press a lot, but when I look back at it, some of my old games, like we didn't even press that much when I look at it. So
yeah.
it's just like you think that you're pressing, but you're not really pressing.
Yeah, I mean, as a team going against a team with your reputation, practice up until that game is different. You know what I mean? Like you're focusing on your press breakers a lot more often. You're focusing on
Mm-hmm.
how you're going to beat the press, how you're going to beat the pressure, rather than your normal preparation for a game may be more half court oriented. So since you have that reputation, you got to understand that teams are prepping for you differently than they may normally have, and that also gives an advantage both mentally and on the court because it's not the way that they're normally preparing for games. So
Yeah,
yeah, so that definitely does help out, and we go through it right now. When we play Nova, we only had 2 games to prepare for Nova after the
yeah,
7-day Christmas break, and it's just like how do you simulate their pressure, what they do on a day-to-day basis, with only 2 days to prepare. So it's definitely something that is in coaches' minds as they get ready to play against teams like yours. Let's jump to
and just,
what you've got coming up today. You've
okay,
got a really good Hedgesville team coming in.
yep,
The community's buzzing because it's like who's gonna come up at the top of the EPAC? Is Jefferson still the best team, or is Hedgesville the best team? Hedgesville is a experienced team, and you got Elijah King that's back. You got Cam Wilkes. You got Bolduc. You've got Wilmer. You've got multitude of guys that that's been around and played the game. And your team's fairly young. Mari's only a sophomore. I know Gladney is a junior. Wyatt is a junior. I think Will's a senior. And then you've got some young guys like Tayshawn Roper, who is starting. You've got Kylan, who's a junior. Didn't get a whole lot of varsity experience last year. So how do you feel you guys stack up tonight, and what are the keys to the game?
The keys are just, playing our style, and then trying to get them out of some of the things they like to do well. They're really disciplined team, so they're going to come out and really focus on getting into their things, and getting those things run well. They're really disciplined team, so they're focused on getting from point A to point B. So some of our things is just disrupting those things. Just hoping we can disrupt them as much as we can. How we can do that, that's remaining to be seen. But that's kind of the goals going into the game. And then some of the young guys stepping up is key. I think Colin had 18 points the other night. Tayshawn had 12 points, so that was good to see those guys get into double figures. Wyatt had 22 against Martinsburg, so you're starting to see some more balance from us. So that's something that we hadn't had. I would say the first 3 or 4 games. So that's kind of the key for us offensively. Like last year, we had 5 in double figures. The year before, we had about 4 in double figures. The year before that, we had about 3 or 4 in double figures. So the key to us is balance. Whatever we do is balance. Whatever style we play, whether it be up and down, kind of that's a perception. We play up and down, and we kind of don't run anything. But if you look at the thing, it's a testament to the guys then, because somehow we figure out balance. We figure out balance on both on the offensive end, where you got 3 or 4 guys in double figures every single night. So somehow we figured that out, and testament to them sharing the basketball, making sure everybody gets the next man gets the next shot, and not really forcing things. So, and sometimes it kind of looks like we're forcing things too. So, for us to have that balance, I think is a testament to them on really understanding what we were trying to do offensively, and embracing that, and coming up at the end of the game with 3 or 4 guys in double figures pretty much every night.
For sure. I kind of noticed you had JG on the ball a little bit more the last game or two. Is that strategically trying to get Mari off the ball, trying to get Mari some rest? What's your goals behind getting JG on the ball a little bit more, getting JG
well,
going?
It's kind of how we play. It just kind of, I guess the last couple of years we've had Dayon, we've had Cam, and then we had Mari last year. So if you watch us play, like the year before, I think it was Cam's junior, he ran a lot of point guard. A lot of people probably didn't really know that, but he played a lot of point guard for us his junior year. When I say point guard, is at the lead of the offense. So we it's kind of Mari kind of is the point guard, but per se, because he's last year he was kind of mainly the point, but Dayon ran the point for 2 years before that. So it kind of rotates, kind of whoever has it, whoever's in position to get it, bring it up. That's kind of by design, but I think Jaden is kind of taking on that role a little bit more the last couple of games, because he hadn't been in that role the last couple of years because he hadn't had to. We had 3 other ball handlers. Like I said, Cam, Dayon, and Mari all could play point guard or play point guard for us. So that's kind of where that is right now. It's just he has the ability and skill set. He's really gotten better this summer. So just kind of showing off. I think he's showing off a couple of those type of skills in the last couple of games. So you all notice it a bit more now.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about coaching against Coach Kelly Church. He's a legend around here, and he's a big personality. He gets to the refs' ears. He's got some antics. Is he one of the people that you enjoy coaching against, or is it something that he's like, oh man, here we go, got to coach against Coach Church tonight?
No, because actually I've known Coach Church for like 25 years. A lot of people probably don't know that. It's funny because he might remember, might not remember. We know each other since before he came in this area. I actually met him before he came to the Eastern Pan at West Virginia basketball camp. he was coaching the high school in Richmond. He was a high school coach in Richmond, and I was just a camp counselor. I hadn't even I think I just finished up school. That's how long ago it's been. I mean, school, college, and he had his team at the West Virginia team camp. Drew Catlett. That's how he got in the area from the Catlets, and he was at the team camp, and I was there as a counselor. Back then, West Virginia, you couldn't coach out of season. So if you're a counselor, you had to take on a team that was at the camp. So I was one of the counselors that had an at-large team. I didn't bring a team down, so I got to coach. I think it was like Kaiser High School and a couple of mixed guys from like New York. And Kelly had a team from Richmond, so we kind of hung out a little bit that week at camp. So I've known him since then. And then he came in the area, and then I've known him ever since. But yeah, he's been it's been the same ever since I've seen him. And I remember when he first came in the area, and I kind of told people like, hey, he's gonna turn some things around at Hedgesville High School. So that was one of the if anybody who knew me back then, I would talk about him really highly because I worked with him that week at camp, and I saw how his team played. And it's funny because he remembers this. His team played totally different how Hedgesville plays now. So that was something different that he did. Yeah.
Yes, adjustments, right? So yeah, he's doing a really good job over there. He's done a good job, cares about the kids. But Coach, I do appreciate it. I won't keep you any longer. Huge game tonight. HTS TV will be there representing the Panhandle and giving you some live game coverage. Wishing you the best. If you guys need anything, let us know. And if you good luck to you guys the rest of the way. I know that you
Appreciate it.
Big plans for your team, and the expectation is to get back to Charleston and make some noise. So definitely wishing you guys the best on the journey for the season and in tonight's game.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Talk to you later.
All right. Thanks.